We're just going to write these down so you have them. Mason, do you mind turning off the front lights for us? Thank you very much. All right. So let me see here. So make sure I have it. So the advantage of buying a new car. So we're going to talk advantages, disadvantages. So advantages. Buying a new car. Now, I will say this. I'm saying that this is versus buying a used, of course. Okay, we're comparing this against buying a used. So I will tell you this, it will seem like there are way more advantages of buying new as opposed to buying used. It doesn't mean that I'm saying it's a better deal to buy new, but there are quite a few advantages. The problem is what? There's a price to pay for that advantage. So just always keep that in mind. I'm not saying buying new, I'm just saying there are quite a few advantages of buying new. So the first one I'm going to say is lower maintenance costs. And I think you can agree with it, but if I ask you to explain, right? If I ask you to explain this, you can say this. So I'll go like this. Car is under warranty. And covers major repairs. Okay, that's why I'm saying that. So you won't have your transmission, if your transmission dies on your car, right? That's basically what runs your vehicle. Like there's the engine, there's the transmission, right? That actually propels the car. If you don't have that, it's thousands of dollars to replace or repair your transmission. With a new vehicle, it's covered under warranty. They'll cover the cost of that. So I will just go example transmission. Engine, right? Anything major with the engine, it's going to be covered. Another advantage is the customization. You can order the vehicle you want, right? The car you want. To suit your needs. Okay, so in that would be example, the color. You can select the trim you want. You want LE, LX, you want chrome, you want sport package, right? Right, the trim, features, etc. Right? And so if you want a backup camera, I mean, a lot of these are starting to become basic. They're just included, but there's a few features, right? Sunroof, moonroof, no roof. Let me say, right? Like they want you to buy more, right? It's fairly simple for them to do it at the factory, but it costs you a lot to actually add that, right? So customization, leather seats, right? That is usually something that you ask for if you buy brand new. You can ask for leather seats, right? Some heated seats, right? All of those fancy features. That's what comes under customization. Uh, don't need to worry about hidden damage, right? So sometimes you can also use these points to justify whether Joe should be buying a new car or not, right? So let's say Joe is not mechanically inclined, doesn't want to repair anything. Oh well, doesn't have to worry about hidden damage since it's a brand new car. Okay, so that's a point to make. It's safer. Why is it safer? It has all the latest safety features are generally included, right? If you drive a newer car, there's airbags everywhere. If you ever crash, you'd be like, right? Like they'll pop up everywhere. People behind you, beside you, everybody gets an airbag these days, right? So they have backup cameras. They have sensors, like my truck, that back up, and there's something behind me, it just starts beeping, right? So it's safer in general, right? Lane departure assist, right? The fancier cars, they tell you when you fall asleep and you go off the lane, it would tell you, right? So that's why it's safer. Um, don't just say, explain, well, it's a new car. That's not good enough. Okay, so you have to make reference to, like, were you in the class, were you paying attention, okay? Safer, and then it's more fuel efficient. Let's add a few. Backup camera, airbags, etc. Just get that in there. And then they're also more fuel efficient, right? That is probably most likely one of the biggest reasons why people choose one over the other, one car over the other, because the fuel efficiency, right? If you needed to go to work every day, you want to minimize that, right? And why is that, right? Manufacturers comply, they have to comply with emission standards, right? And obviously with the demand as well. But the government, right? Various governments, they come up with stricter emission standards. So that usually translates in the car being more fuel efficient, right? Because if it emits less, it means it's burning less fuel. Okay. Okay, that's it for advantages. You may have more, but these are the ones I'm going to give you. Disadvantages, right, of buying brand new. We calculated it yesterday. It starts with a D. Depreciation costs, right? So a disadvantage is that there will be a higher depreciation cost. Like it actually costs you, right? Like you're losing money. If you were to turn that car into cash, you'd get less, right? So there's a higher depreciation cost. I will say this. Vehicles lose up to 40% of their value within the first 4 years. So almost half, right? 40% of the value lost within the first 4 years. Okay, and then it slows down. So depreciation would be like if this is money over time, and let's say this is year 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, it would go like this, and then it just kind of slows down, right? So that's the critical point, right? Year 4 is right there. So it goes steep and then it slows down. Cost more to insure. Costs more to insure, and you can probably imagine why. Because it costs Autopack more money to pay you if you get into a car accident, right? Nowadays, it doesn't take much, and it's thousands of dollars, right? You crack your bumper, they have to redo the whole bumper, right? You just ding a little bit a door, and it's thousands of dollars to repair that. So your vehicles cost more to repair. You pay for freight, and I will leave it at that. You pay for transportation, which is quite frankly not cheap, right? To do that. So that's that. So now we're gonna go back to math, right? Doing actual calculations. But I needed you to have some of these. And so study sheet, you're not gonna do the whole thing on the study sheet. You're just gonna go bullets, right? A few bullets, maybe 2 advantages, 2 disadvantages, and then you should know how to explain that by studying, right? You study. I would not use up my study sheet too much with this kind of stuff. So page 6. And so we're going to talk about, I'm going to have my highlighter ready to go here. But when buying a used vehicle, in a sense, right? So right now the focus is on used versus buying a brand new, but we're not going to forget about buying a brand new car. But when you're getting it from a dealership, you'll be paying 12% versus private, you only pay 7% PST. Right? You only pay the provincial sales tax. Okay, and so there's a safety inspection. Prior to insuring a vehicle in Manitoba, it needs to pass safety inspection called COI. That's a certificate of inspection. Okay, that's so if you buy a car off of Kijiji, make sure you get that piece of paper. If you want a sample, you can go to Autopac's website, or let's go to page 9 real quick. I had to shrink it down, but it should. Let me zoom into what you need to pay attention to. You see that pass fail there? My camera is not cooperating. There you go. So you want this to be crossed off, right? That this vehicle passed the safety. Sometimes it fails the first time, so the owner takes it in. It will be fail, but then they switch it to pass because you make the repairs and you come back and then you bring that same safety back, and then the mechanic will check off, okay, this is now repaired, and it turns this one into a safe vehicle. Okay, and that's how I understand it. I'm pretty sure it's still like that, but all these checklists is all the things they check. Okay, so let's go back to page 6. Sorry. So now you know what a certificate, and there are 3 copies, guys. That certificate that I just showed you has a white, a yellow, and a pink. Okay, they're together. If you don't have the white one, Autopac will not insure the vehicle. You know how I know? Because it happened to me, right? So I buy the car, actually wasn't too far from here. Thank you very much. And I'm like, can I have the safety? Sure. He gives me the pink copy. I'm like, sure, safety is safety, right? I drive all the way to my Autopac agent, Leela and McPhillips, and they're like, nope, can't insure it. You need the white. So I had to like drive back, get the white paper. So anyways, it's painful, but you gotta make sure you get the white, get the whole thing actually. It is valid for 12 months. Did you know that? So if you buy the car, you can still sell it with that same safety without having to re-safety it, as long as it's within the 12 months of the first inspection. Okay, it's kind of cool to know. The book value, this is very important, guys. Book value. The book value is going to happen quite often. is the value of the car based on its make and age, but it's important to know that it does not always reflect the market value. And I will add something here. Please write this down. The book value, okay, may be above or below, okay? The book value may be above or below the purchase price. Okay? You need to understand that the book value is just something that Autopack kind of has like a guideline, but you can actually be buying a car for more or less than what the book value is. So what does that depend on? So if the person paid very good attention to the car, it has low miles, they put on fancy rims, they did a whole bunch of fancy upgrades, it's going to be more, right? So keep that in mind. Purchase price, the actual value paid for the car. It may be more or less than the book value. Same thing here. The purchase price may be more or less than the book value. Trade-in, if there's a trade-in, subtract from the original price, just like before. Parts and labor, any repairs or work that needs to be done, right, will be taxed 12%. Lien search, guys, this is brand new. You probably have never heard of that before, but you're going to hear it quite often. Lien search, right? A lien is a claim or legal right against an asset that is typically used as a collateral to satisfy debt. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What did you just talk? You talking gibberish. Okay. Let me simplify that for you. Let's say this is your car. Don't judge, okay? And this is your car, okay? You go to the bank and you're like, so you go to the bank, say, hey, I want $10,000 to buy this car. The bank says, sure, here, take the 10,000, go buy your car. The bank puts a lien on this car. So what does that mean? Do you know that every car has a serial number? Did you know that? Like it's by the dash. Like if you look at long number and letters. So the bank goes online. What's the internet symbol? It's like a world, right? Or something like that, like this. Whatever. They go online, they put this VIN number, they put that VIN number into the system. So that this car is technically tied to the bank until you fully paid the loan. So why is that important to know? People steal cars, you know that, right? Unfortunately. So if somebody steals it in Ontario and they come over to Manitoba and quickly want to sell it to you, if you buy that car and then you find out later that there's a lien on that car, like somebody owes money on it, they can actually take it from you. Like they repo it. Like have you seen those shows where they repossess something that has been stolen? So you want to make sure you do a lien check. It doesn't cost. Have you heard of Carfax? Carfax. It's to check if your car has been in an accident or anything like that. Again, you need the VIN number for that. On Kijiji, I always ask them to send me their VIN number. And then I go to Carfax, I pay when I'm serious about buying it. And then Carfax gives you the history of the car. Oh, had a front end collision, had a rear end collision. All these things will be listed. And then at the bottom, if you pay a little bit more, they do a lien search, and that should come up clean. Like it should say this car does not have any liens on it. Then I go ahead and buy it. Okay, don't buy it before you do the lien check. Don't try to save 30 bucks, right? And then later end up having a lien on that car. Most banks do it anyways. Like some banks just do it for you, but they charge you, and that's okay, right? Just go tell them to go ahead and perform that search, and then you're safe. I know I'm talking a lot, but I want you to save money. Okay, I don't want you to lose your lifelong savings on something like that, right? Because you won't be prepared for it. That's a Lee search, okay? Let's keep going. I want you to fill this in real quick. This is also on your formula sheet. Watch this, back of the formula sheet. On your green formula sheet, if you didn't get a formula sheet, I handed one out. It's green. Come and see me later. I'll give it to you. Buying new, you pay both taxes. So it's 12%, obviously. No surprises there. Buying used from a dealer, you pay 12%. So nothing changes. But if it's buying used private, there's no PST, right? Oh, sorry. There's no GST, sorry that. So you only pay 7% if it's private. Okay, very important. Safety, you do not pay PST, you only pay GST. Write this down, okay? Materials and labor, PST and GST. So 12%, I told you that yesterday. Watch this, what about Lee search? No PST and no GST, you pay 0% tax on a Lee search. So what I would not have this on my study sheet. I would just bring my formula sheet and just check. If you ever forget, that it's right here. The same exact same thing is on your formula sheet. So don't use up space on your study sheet. Okay. This is test material right here. In order to insure a vehicle in Manitoba, you need three things. You need your COI, which is the safety. You need a bill of sale. And you need the TOD. What is a TOD? It's a transfer of ownership. It should be in the glove box. Your car, whenever a cop pulls you over, they might ask to see the registration of the vehicle, right? It's kind of bluish looking. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It might be in a little pouch, right? The back of that thing has something to sign. So that owner that sells you the car needs to sign that piece of paper, okay? Or else you will not be able to insure the vehicle. Okay. Good. Formulas. Be ready for this one, okay? If you were falling asleep, you don't want to fall asleep for this part. Because this formula you will not find anywhere else. It's just made up by me. Okay, so it's page 7, because I noted students kept on asking me, can you just give me a formula? I just want a formula so that I know what to do. And I debated, and here it is, okay? If you're buying a used car and it's from a dealership, the formula will look like this. So ready? You take the sticker price minus a trade-in. You put that in brackets. It's going to be a long formula, so I'm actually going to keep it compact, right? I don't know if you want to wait for me to write it out first. You multiply that by 1.12 because it's from a dealer, right? If there's a safety, you take the safety and you multiply it by 1.0 what? It's just 5% for a safety. Yeah, it's just GST. Plus, watch this. If I say P and L, do you know what that stands for? Parts and labor. Okay. Parts and labor times 1.12. And then at the end, if there's a lien surge, you go lien. Okay. And I will make a note here. I will box this in first. And boxed in things are important, right? And UD stands for used dealership, obviously. Note P&L stands for parts and labor. And you always have to write down notes so that when you look at it a month, 2 months, 3 months from now, right down the road, that you can go back and be like, oh, okay, don't think of today. Today might make sense, but it may not make sense down the road. I just want to add this too. When buying from a dealer, I would say that safety, parts and labor, and lien are usually included. Like when you go to a dealer, they make sure that their cars don't have a lien on them. Like for the most, like I would say 99%, right? And they will have already performed the safety. They will have made any repairs that already need to be done for it to be safety. So in a nutshell, guys, the formula that I just gave you, are you ready for this? Probably will just come down to this, most likely, okay? But if there's ever a safety mentioned, okay, I know what to do. I'm going to plug that cost into the safety, boom. If there's ever parts and labor mentioned, I put it right there, boom, right? And lien, watch, it doesn't have any taxes, so I don't need to multiply it by anything. This stands for 5%, right? That right there is 5%, and that right there is 12% taxes. That's why I'm doing that, right? As well as this part right here is 12%. So you got to understand that these formulas can shrink down to almost nothing, or they can be really long if everything is included, right? If everything is mentioned in the problem. Okay. Use private. This one is similar, but there's a clear distinction here. Watch this. Write this down. Purchase price plus purchase / book value, that is, right? Times 0. Can I restart, guys? Because it's not going to fit if I do it like this. I have to start underneath. I just realized that. So watch what I'm going to do. Right? I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to go all the way to this side. I got too excited here. You know that we teachers, we perform right in front of you, so we're nervous every time. So it just goes away over time, but we still make mistakes because of that. Okay. So you just got to give me a break every once in a while here. Okay, here we go. Purchase price. So obviously you're going to pay what you pay for, right? Like whatever you agreed to pay, plus this is going to be purchase / book times, this is so important to get it right that I'm going to use a pen here, 0.07. Did you say 0.07, Mr. Erickson? Not 1.07? No, I said 0.07. I did not make a mistake, okay? Plus safety. When it's private, there's going to be a lot of safety. Plus parts and labor times 1.12. Put that in a bracket. Plus my lien search if it's mentioned. So if you're like, oh, it's not going to fit, start over. I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Go under this and try it again, right? So you want it to be nicely in one row. And I'm going to box that in. Hold it. Will there always be a lien search in every question? No. So that turns into 0. Will there always be parts and labor? So you omit that. You're almost like, okay, don't worry about it. Sometimes there's just safety, and that's it, right? So keep that in mind. Watch this, guys. This part right here, is the PST on the vehicle. That's the PST that you'll be paying on the car. Autopack is sneaky, so they will want the higher of the two. So they'll look like, wait a minute, you paid 10 grand? Did you say 10 grand? Yeah. Our book shows 8. You're going to pay taxes on 10 grand, right? If you paid 4 grand and their book value says 8 grand, what are they going to take? The 8. They're going to always take the higher one. So that's what I mean by purchase/book, okay? Watch this. Note the formulas find the total after tax. Okay? Do not multiply final answers or final answer by 1.12. I'm going to say it one more time. Write it down first, because after this, I can always like give you a little kick every time you make that mistake. I'm just kidding. It's not gonna happen. But these formulas, guys, these formulas would be how much you would be paying after all applicable taxes. All right. So if you do all this work, it's beautiful. It's like you get the final answer, and you're like, oh, after taxes times 1.12. You're double taxing yourself. Okay, you don't want to double tax. You already pay enough tax, right? So please don't multiply final answer by 1.12. Don't do that. I think I would like you to highlight that if you have a highlighter, so that 2 months from now, if you check your notes or whatever, you know, oh yeah, Mr. Dixon warned me about that. Okay. Okay. Let's do some math here. Enough talking. You agree on a price of 12,999. So that's the purchase price. For a used car at a dealership. So sometimes it doesn't say dealership. Sometimes it says at Crown Toyota. Oh, that's a dealership, right? So you got to watch out. You add a remote starter, and the dealer offers you 3,500 bucks for your old car. What is that? What do we call that? A trade-in. Yeah, that's a trade. I just call it a trade, but it's a trade-in. How much is paid including taxes? So I would go to my study sheet and I'd be like, okay, this is definitely used dealer. Okay, definitely. And sticker, so this would be sticker minus trade times 1.12. Right? Okay. Do you remember what sticker, what goes into the sticker price? The price of the car plus, are you doing any options? Yeah. And then I go minus 3,500. Well, yeah, I almost dropped a dollar there. 99 cents. Sorry. Thank you. Feel free to mention things like that, okay? Don't feel bad. So this is the sticker price, right? Remember from the first day, right? price plus options. Is there any freight here? No, so don't worry about it. So I'm basically saying, hey, this is my sticker. I'm going to subtract the trade. Then I go times 1.12. So that gives me, I will mention that this is sticker because some of you are probably like, what happened to the sticker price? It's right there. Sticker, and this is trade. Okay. If you want to do the sticker price on the side, go for it. I'm okay with it. So this is 9,998.99 times 1.12, and I get a grand total of 11,198.87. So you're like, this is exactly like buying new, Mr. Dirksen. Pretty much, because when you're dealing with a dealership, they charge you 12%, so it's kind of like the same thing. Okay. All right, let's do that second example because that's where today's lesson comes in. Okay. Joel finds a Ford F-150 for $24,900. That's the purchase price, owned by a private seller, and it's sold as is, meaning it is what it is, right? The book value of the vehicle is $32,000. There's a $65 safety inspection and a $30 charge for lien search. Calculate the total cost of purchasing the vehicle after tax. So I don't have a lot of room, folks, so this is going to be just plug and play. Okay, so I'm just going to use my formula up here, but you can see it at the top of the screen, correct? Okay, what's my purchase price? Right, Joel finds the Ford for $24,900. So it's $24,900 plus there's the book value and there's the purchase price. Which one do you think AutoPack is going to use to determine the taxes? The book value in this case, because it's greater. Okay, so I'm going to go 32,000 times 0.07. I'm going to highlight it with a different, I'm going to go orange or something like that. I need you to see that, right? This is this, right? And I will say book value is greater. Therefore, it goes in there. Sometimes, guys, the book value is there just to confuse you. Sometimes you will not use it. If this book value had been lower, it would have just been there to make you think, should I use it? Should I not use it, right? In this case, it's higher. Okay, keep going. I got this part done. Safety. Is there a safety mentioned? There is. So I'm going to go plus, not times, guys. Plus 65 times 1.05 because safety is taxed 5%. Any parts and labor? Nope. So forget it. Just kind of skip this part and just go straight to lien search, which is 30 bucks. See, if you follow it to the T, you should be able to answer this. And I would like you to actually find the answers, okay? So you're going to go 32,000 times 0.07, it's 2,240. And then you 65 times 1.05, that's 6825 plus 30. So you can actually go and just at the end do this here, now that you're adding everything up. So it's 27,238.25. That's how much you'll be paying in this case, including all applicable taxes. Oh, after tax, I'm going to go times 1.12. You're done. When you're using my formula, this is tax. There's tax here, right? You just don't have a 12% tax, right? Okay, keep going. Because I want you to have some time to work through the next questions here. How much did Joel pay in taxes? Careful here. How much did Joel pay in taxes only? Can you follow my lead here? Taxes only. You skip the purchase price. You just go straight into this. You go 32,000 times 0.07, right? This is going to give you the taxes plus the $65. What's going to be different in this line? Instead of going 1.07, I'm going to go 0.05. So any brackets that have the 1.12 or 1.05, any of the ones get turned into zeros. Okay? So this essentially, because Leon doesn't have any taxes, I don't need to worry about it. So you go, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to use my previous answer for this. Can you do the math? 68.25 from 65 to there, it was just really $3.25. And if you're not sure, just multiply this, right? So that would be 2,243.25. Every once in a while, I do one of those to check if you're understanding the difference between the total, including tax, and just the taxes. Okay? All right. I want you to try both questions on page 8. You've got notes, you've got examples. Just make sure you stay quiet as a mouse, right? So that people can think. We need to think, and it has to be quiet, right? Yeah. And if you go to the bathroom, my number is like 2 to 3 people at a time, and just be quick, okay? I don't want you to like do laps on the. All right, so a couple things. It's a car and it's private. They don't need to tell us that it's used because it's private, right? Like it's gonna be used. Purchase price. We need 2 lights at $60 each, 4 brakes at $150, a tune-up for $190, labor, right? We paid 2 hours at $65 per hour. There's a safety check. And there's the big one. Book value is $10,000. They have to give you the book value when it's a private sale. If they don't, then I made a mistake, right? So you got to ask me for it. So parts and labor, I'm going to do that first. I want to get that out of the way, right? So you've got 2 lights at $60. You've got 4 brakes at $150 each. You got the $150 tune-up, and you've got 2 hours at $65. So that's $120, $600, $130, and I'm going to add the $190 just here. I strongly suggest you do the parts and labor on the side every time. I would discourage you from just making that equation or that formula really long and ugly, right? And I will also tell you that there's a very big chance you get the taxes wrong if you do it all once, like everything in the formula. So this is subtotal, this is not including taxes. Okay, so parts and labor on the side. Then I go over, okay? I go over here. This is used, private. I take my purchase price. I take which one is greater? In this case, it's obvious the book value is greater, so I put the 10,000 in there, times 0.07 plus, I got to peek at my formula that I gave you. I want to keep it consistent. Safety, Safety is $40. You pay 5% on that. Then there's parts and labor, which is 1,040 times 1.12. Is there a lien search? I don't see one, so no lien search. Don't worry about it. Okay, it's omitted. And now you just clean it up, right? I also want you to show your work. Okay, so you get 700 here. This is $42 if you multiply these two, and this gets you 1164.80. This last bracket there, and then you get your total 11,406.80. Oh, but it says after tax. I'm writing my test, right? And it's like, just making sure my taxes is in there. It's like, nope, don't do that, right? This is already including all the applicable taxes right there. Okay. Anmol, you want to grab a seat? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Total taxes paid. Taxes only, okay? So I basically scan my top here, and I'm just gonna, the first one stays at 0, right? So boom. Then the second bracket, I turn that into a 0 as well, right? So that 1 turns into a 0. Plus that third bracket, what happens to the 1.12? 0.12. Okay. So that is then really 700 plus 2 plus, I'm peeking here, 124.80. Right? Boom, boom, boom. Taxes. 826.80. Taxes only paid. Okay. I don't want you to pack just yet, so keep going. This one right here, give that a try. You want me to give you the answer? I'll give you the answer in brackets here so you know where you're at. That is 19,130.16. Write that number down so you know you're on the right track. Let me just peek. Yeah, so the assignment, which you don't hand in, right? This is just for you to work on. If you want to focus on used, you start on page 10, okay? And I will post the answer key to that later today. I would say work at least until 325, right? 325, then you pack it in, but until then, you stay busy, okay? Yeah. Use the purchase. So the 14,000 never shows up. Can I just say that? Everybody look up for a second here. Look up, for example, 3 on page 8. There's the purchase price, right? And the book value right here. Which one is greater? The purchase price. So the book value in this case doesn't show up anywhere in your formula. Like you should not have 14,000 anywhere. It's just there to trick you. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm trying to get you to think, right? So keep that in mind. So you will have the purchase price show up twice, 16,500 and then 16,500 again in that second bracket, okay?